This is the Tony Kornheiser Show.
Did you like Jefferson Airplane, Andy?
Not particularly, no.
Phil, do you know anything about Jefferson Airplane?
Not really, Tony.
Fly Jefferson Airplane, get you there on time?
Very slick as 65.
Yeah. They were gigantic. In the whole Haight-Ashbury psychedelic era, they were bigger than the Doors. They were bigger than the Grateful Dead. They were weren't they the biggest group of all the West Coast psychedelic bands, Jefferson Airplane?
Yes.
Hello, who am I talking
Yeah,
to?
well,
Young people.
you're asking us.
Well,
You're asking us.
I'm the only one who was alive.
Yeah.
Why would I ask you?
Do you know what it was like to vote for Roosevelt? No.
Yeah. Let's realize that.
No,
You know, it's possible you were the only two people listening to me.
That is possible.
That's possible.
Live from the Atlantic Video Studios in Washington, D.C., home of Pardon the Interruption, and from the worldwide leader in sports, this is the Tony Kornheiser Show on ESPN Radio. Now, here's Tony Kornheiser.
Much like yesterday, with the NCAAs going on beginning at around 12 noon or so, very few people are going to be listening to this show as the show progresses. So the people who are listening now, I'm happy to say. And you probably want me to talk about the NCAAs, and of course, in time, I will. First, let me welcome Brendan Borzelli of New Jersey, a listener and emailer of consequence, and his wife, Patty, have come to the Washington area not to see me necessarily, but they've stopped by to see the show, and they will undoubtedly be the last guest we ever had because we're going to shoot anybody else who comes in.
Well, I don't know if we'll do
We're
that.
going to let him
Unless
retire.
it's Bin Laden.
Now, I think it's important to keep the tenor of this show in the way that people have thought about it and will remember it, which is we isolate on things that are of great concern to me. And I want to start with something that happened to Phil yesterday. This is an outrage. What happened to Phil? Phil, tell the people what happened.
It's terrible, Tony. I'm distraught. I come into work every day, and I park in generally the same spot, the same area.
Does your spot have your name on it?
No, it doesn't.
You're not big enough to have your
No.
own spot.
No, and actually,
Does Dan Patrick have his own spot?
Actually, nobody is big enough to have their own
Dan
spot.
doesn't have his
Nobody
own spot?
has their own spot.
They took spots away. They took
Really?
designated spots away a couple years ago.
Okay, so you're part of the sucking, swirling herd
Yes.
that goes and parks on the giant ESPN lot.
Yes, I
But you
am.
park in pretty much the same area.
The
every
same
day.
area, and this area.
And you recognize the cars in that area.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
sure you
some
do,
of
and
some
they
of the same
recognize
cars are there
yours.
all the time. Yes.
And to describe again what kind of car you have.
I have a Chevy Cavalier,
What it-
2003 Cavalier.
Has leather seats,
No, it has cloth seats,
Has-
but a sunroof.
sunroof, a
Yes.
big upgrade over Andy's
Yes.
dopey Honda.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And
Hold on a second. Hold
okay.
on a second. Brendan, what kind of car do you drive?
A Honda Civic, Jeep Cherokee.
So
Honda
your
Civic.
wife has a Jeep Cherokee, a Grand Cherokee or the regular Cherokee?
Cherokee Sport.
Okay, that's what Junior has. Junior drives a regular Cherokee, even though Junior makes millions of dollars every single year. And a Honda Civic, that's a small little car. Do you have cloth or do you have leather?
No, it's cloth.
And do you have a sunroof?
Yes.
All right, up over Andy again.
There you go.
At least
Good
the
job,
sunroof.
Brendan.
Go ahead, Phil.
I
Describe
got the
what
higher
happened.
model, though. Cord's better than a Civic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Andy, a man making what you're making should be driving a better car. Go ahead.
So I leave work yesterday, probably about 4:30 Eastern time, and I had 2 movies that I had rented that I was returning.
What were your movies?
I rented the movies Out of Time. It was
Out
a
of Time.
Denzel Washington movie.
I don't know it. What else?
And I got the second Tomb Raider movie.
Oh,
with
boy,
Angelina
so
Jolie.
that is a real big plus
Yes.
for your intellectual quotient.
That's right.
The second Tomb Raider movie, as if the first Tomb Raider movie wasn't enough. You had to go get the sequel,
Well-
the Angelina Jolie, so you could match up her new tattoos with her old tattoos.
That's what I was comparing tattoos.
All right.
So I
I'd cut to the chase, Phil.
I
sorry.
had returned the movies, and I got in my car. I got out of the car for 5 seconds, put them in the slot, and walking back to my car, I noticed there was something wrong with the front end of my car, the front right side.
Oh, yeah, and you wouldn't necessarily see this because when you walk to your car, the driver's side is on the left. You don't really inspect your car every time. Could this damage have been done while you were returning the movies? Is that possible?
Oh no, because I was not looking at my car for about 4 seconds.
So the damage was done in the ESPN lot.
Yes, it was.
You were hit by presumably another ESPN employee.
Somebody allegedly hit my car.
No, somebody
Well,
didn't allegedly hit your car. Somebody hit your car.
Somebody hit my car.
Right.
And
We're alleging that it's another ESPN employee.
Yes.
Could have
we
been a
are.
Martian.
So you went to
Could've
St.
been.
Bonaventure. Try and keep up.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I went back to ESPN, went to the security, and I said, "Hey, could you check over the security tapes because I think somebody hit my car." And the guy said, "All right, well, where's the car?" I said, "Well, right now it's it's parked out here." He goes, "All right, let me come out and look at it." So he comes out and he looks at it and he says, "Well," he goes, "they would have had to have hit you from the front, coming almost head on and hit me in that direction. And the way I'm parked, it's almost impossible for somebody to hit me from that direction."
Were
because
you parked between cars?
I was between two cars.
Well, then it
but
obviously had to come from
There was
front.
nothing in front of me.
Right.
There was like a fence.
Okay.
So
How did that happen?
Well, the only thing it could be is the car on your right-hand side could have swiped you on some level and then gotten out of dodge.
I asked. I said, could the guy, pulling out to my right, just cut the turn right away?
Right.
And he says, yeah, that could have happened. Well, I think it did.
Yeah.
So the guy said, all right. He goes, I'll check the tapes and then I'll send you an incident report. So I got the incident report this morning, and the cameras were not in a position to see my car.
What good are the cameras?
Exactly.
Were you parked in a regular sort of strip of cars?
Yes, I was.
Fully exposed to the elements?
I was exposed to the world, Tony.
What point are these cameras? Plus, I'm sure this is another employee at
Absolutely.
ESPN, who didn't have the decency, the courage, the humanity to give you a note and tell you that he hit your car and he would be responsible for this. I had another car in the Washington Post parking lot, and I went immediately to the attendant and I said, look, I did this. Please tell the person who it is, yada, yada, yada. It cost me $800, but I paid for it to repair the car. It was my fault. So this is the kind of people that you work with.
Exactly.
So that's terrible. And here's what I have to say about this. I take no pleasure in pointing out any of these contradictions, but someone has to. Someone has to not sit idly by and watch guys in suits exploiting kids in shorts. Someone has to do something, and someday I hope someone with more than a pen or a microphone does. That's from my heart, Phil.
Thank you.
Others may not understand that. That's an inside joke.
Yeah.
That's why you don't understand that.
It's also interesting that a worldwide television network wouldn't have proper security cameras.
Right.
They're in the camera business.
That's terrible, Phil.
I was very.
All right, Phil, okay, now enough with you, because it's a terrible thing that happened to you, but let me tell you what happened to me.
I'm sorry. What
Okay?
happened to you, Tony?
My TV went out.
Oh, no, not
This
the
is
HD.
not my HD. Listen to this.
that's a
Listen to
tragedy.
this.
Man,
This
my
is
car.
a crisis. I've called Paul, who I hope will be able to come to my house this evening and fix my TV. This is my fabulous 37-inch sharp Aquos TV.
What are you and LeVar
that
going to
I
rap
have
about this
just
weekend?
loved for the 2 months that I have had it. This morning, I went downstairs about 5:45 to turn on the TV to get the scores to figure out what had happened, and I get no picture. Not only do I get no picture, but the clock doesn't work. The clock on what do you call that stuff where they not only doesn't the clock on the television work, but the clock in the master
VCR?
control, whatever it is.
On the
whatever it is.
box.
That doesn't work. I can mute. There is no sound, of course, but my mute button still works. My sound gradient still works. I can go up and down. I just have absolutely no picture. Does anybody want to know? I mean, I spent tons of money on this, and by the way, I love it. I love it. I love the set. And now the other sets in my house work. The other cables in my house work, so I don't think it's star power.
Yeah.
I've got to assume it's the set. Although Michael, my son, thinks it's windy today. He said, well, something blew out. And I said, well, then why don't the other sets
Yeah, you don't have a
exhibit
dish.
the same thing? I don't have a dish.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is.
But you can't go back to the other sets. Well, once you've had HD, you can't.
Well, no.
You can't
I
go
went
back.
back to the other sets. It's not a question of not going back to the other sets. I'm fine going back to the other sets, but this is in the room where I watch TV.
Yeah.
Now I've called, as I said, I've called Paul, and I'm hoping he can come over this evening and fix this. But, Phil, what are we talking? Does your car still run? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bill.
the car
Does your
still
car
runs.
run?
I'm still able to drive my
So
car.
stop
I
whining.
can't watch TV.
That's
And
terrible.
this is a big, this is an important time
I'm
for you
a
to watch
senior
TV.
citizen.
God.
I can't watch TV.
It's
What else am I
incapacitated.
going to do? The only
Eat.
thing worse than not being able to watch TV at my age is not to be able to get to the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's all.
Even if your car were
This is
totaled, Phil,
horrifying.
you could take a bus.
I could.
Right. And you're young. And plus, who cares about you?
Right.
I'm
my
sorry.
TV doesn't work.
I'm sorry that I was complaining about my car.
Thank you
I'm
very much.
sorry.
My TV doesn't work. And I have only this to say about it. I take no pleasure in pointing out any of these contradictions, but someone has to. Someone has to not sit idly by and watch guys in suits exploiting kids in shorts. Someone has to do something. Someday I hope someone with more than a pen or a microphone does. Right, Andy?
Yes, I'm with you there. I'm right behind you.
So, in other sports news, Florida... Florida was the first... There's nobody listening.
Let's hope.
I love this TV. I really do.
Yeah.
I love it. Where did I get it again? At Theater Visions. Right? Jerry sold it to me.
Was there a warranty on the TV?
I'm sure. I've only had it for a couple of months. Look, I just have no... You know what? I sat there today, and I pressed all the buttons, and nothing
good.
happened.
Did you smash anything?
I started screaming at my wife.
That'll
Fix
do
it! Fix it! Fix it! And she took out the, the manual, and she hit a few buttons, and nothing happened. I said, fix it! And she said, fix it yourself, you dope.
There you
I
go.
can't fix it. And I said, I need to call people. And more than that, thank God I'm still on the radio and I can complain. Because next week I'll have to just run up and down the street like a crazy man and complain. No one will listen to me. I won't have a radio show. It's a tragedy as far as I'm concerned.
It's awful. It's
absolute tragedy.
someone ought to do something.